from Omaha's news leader. This is KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle.
A good Sunday morning to you, and thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Shammert. Relief this week for Nebraska families. After 2 weeks without SNAP benefits, DHHS issued partial benefits. But the government shutdown, though now over, is still taking a bite out of food pantries in Nebraska, Iowa, and across the U.S. Millions of families went weeks without money to put food on the table. Right now, food banks across the country are still seeing demand surge, and they're bracing for even more in the coming weeks. This morning, we'll take a closer look at what SNAP is, who it serves, and the domino effect of when those benefits stopped. We'll speak with an expert to help explain exactly how the program works and who qualifies. And later, we'll hear from a local food bank on how they're stepping up to meet the growing need and what comes next now that benefits resume. This isn't just about policy, it's about people and how communities come together to help keep food on the table for their neighbors. About 155,000 Nebraskans use SNAP benefits. That's nearly 8% of the state's population. This includes more than 60,000 children, 17,000 seniors, and about 5,000 veterans. So, what can you buy with your SNAP benefits? The list is long. Produce, meat, dairy, snack foods, non-alcoholic drinks like water and juice. You can also buy seeds to grow your own food. The list of what you can't buy is also long. Recently, Nebraska was granted permission to ban soda and energy drinks. You can also see the list of non-food items that don't qualify. Some musts include paper products like toilet paper, toothpaste, cleaning supplies. The fact is, a lot of people who don't use SNAP don't understand its importance. So here to explain what it is and who qualifies for the food assistance program is Ken Smith with Nebraska Appleseed. He is the Director for Economic Justice. Ken, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
So let's start with the very basics. We've heard of food stamps. That's essentially what SNAP is, right?
Yes, SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It was formerly known as food stamps. It is the federal food assistance program that has been around for 6 decades now, that Congress began a long time ago, recognizing the national interest in fighting hunger. So it is a federally funded nutrition benefit that states administer that helps 40 million Americans and 155,000 Nebraskans put food on the table.
So how does it work? Are people issued cards, cash? How does it work?
Yeah, so people apply for SNAP benefits. If they're deemed eligible by the state, they receive an EBT card that has funds loaded onto it that can be used to purchase the types of food products that you were describing. And that is replenished each month. Families who are on SNAP have to recertify, so they have to show their eligibility on an ongoing basis to continue to receive those benefits. But in essence, that's how it works. The federal government provides funding to states to administer this program. The states then load these benefits onto cards for eligible households so they can buy food.
So we just heard the number, 155,000 Nebraskans. We have a population of about 2 million people. Can you put that number into perspective, give some context for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of our friends and neighbors across the state who, I think it's about $330 million of SNAP benefits are redeemed in the state each year. So it's hard to understate the scope of the program and how much it's kind of working to make sure that Nebraska families can put food on the table.
Who qualifies? And you did mention there's kind of a requalification process as well, right?
That's right. So in general, and it's a little bit more complicated than this, but one of the main qualification criteria is income. So Nebraska has a gross income eligibility threshold at 165% of federal poverty level. That means that for a family of 3, the gross income eligibility limit is about $43,000 per household. So importantly, not for an individual, but for the household's income. So there are other conditions to qualify, but it is a means-tested program that is intended to go to folks who are struggling to make ends meet.
So some of those income eligibility limits, it's not just the poverty level, it's a little higher. These are people who really could be your neighbors in no matter what neighborhood you live.
Yeah, I mean, SNAP has a very, very broad reach. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's our most critical tool to fight against hunger. It's also flexible. It's structured as an entitlement program, so it can respond when the economy, for example, when people are in tough economic times. When food prices are going up, SNAP is or has been a constant in providing assistance for people to put food on the table. It has just withstood unprecedented cuts that were recently passed through Congress, and then obviously with this federal shutdown, it's been talked about widely how those benefits have been frozen. So I think SNAP now is kind of in the news more than it has been, which is a good thing, I think, because for a long time it's been operating to meet the needs of a lot of people. It's important that more people are aware of just how critical the program is.
So benefits have been partially issued in Nebraska and Iowa. Is this a program that can just, hey, next week it's rebounded, we're good to go? Or is this shutdown gonna linger and take time?
It's going to take a little bit of time, and things are moving pretty quickly. I don't think there's an easy or simple answer to exactly how much time, but it's certainly not like flipping a light switch back on. It will take time to get things going again after this disruption. And I will say it's also an unprecedented disruption. I think it's the first time in 6 decades that there has been a freeze on SNAP disbursements.
Yeah, we only have about 30 seconds left, but I mean, what have you seen at Nebraska Appleseed over the last couple of weeks when it comes to this?
Just a surge in need. I mean, I think that speaks to how important SNAP is, and I know our friends at the food bank will attest to that too, but we see that when SNAP is turned off, the need for emergency food resources skyrockets.
Ken, from Nebraska Appleseed, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now, like I said earlier, the need for food is great, but a lot of essential things SNAP doesn't pay for. So at the beginning of November, when the shutdown was rolling into its second month, Baxter Arena opened its doors to help hundreds of families here locally. It was called the Love Can Store event, and it welcomes people to receive some of those essential items. Here's Chronicle's Pete Cudahy with the event's impact.
The event helped nearly 1,000 children and over 500 adults. And of all of those people there, I spoke to one woman who's beyond grateful for the help and for the friendly faces she met along the way.
It's an emotional day for Nicole Miles.
I can do this. You got this. Thank you.
She was given simple household items like deodorant and a winter coat for her granddaughter. But what really triggered her tears was a big surprise that we'll get to later. This was at the Love Can Store at Baxter Arena, organized by Sasha Bershed, the founder of Project Intentional.
We are as strong as our weakest player. And so I see everyone coming together to be unified and to help their brothers out and their sisters out.
Over 300 families were invited to receive free resources ranging from socks to chicken noodle soup. Volunteers stocked jars of salsa, organized bags filled with toothpaste and soap, and even offered emotional support.
I gave hugs.
That's Izzy, the same little girl who you saw giving hugs earlier. And as for Nicole, here's what really made her day.
We are equipping each and every 345 families with $150 checks.
I had no idea that they were going to give us a check.
It was the surprise of a little bit of help in a time of need.
Just kind of been unable to work because of health reasons.
That brought Miles to tears.
As I cried, they both hugged me and they've been with me just these few little minutes, and I feel like I've got me some more little girls.
Project Intentional relies on community funding, so if you want to help them out, you can go to the link in this article on KETV.com. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Pete Cudahy, KETV Newswatch 7.
And still ahead this morning on Chronicle, why we're so lucky to live in a community that cares. The impact of the mayor's citywide food drive, how its success is driving more help through the holidays, and the local champions helping the cause. That's next.